Welcome back, everyone. The world was jolted once again by reports of an explosion near one of Iran's most sensitive and controversial military sites. On January 27, 2026, news outlets, social media posts, and intelligence circles lit up with unverified claims of a blast at or near the Parchin military complex, a sprawling installation southeast of Tehran, long linked, in the perceptions of many Western analysts, to Iran's nuclear weapons research history. The incident occurred at a moment of already extreme geopolitical friction. Tensions between Iran, the United States, and Israel have been rising sharply, with warships deployed to the Middle East. Ongoing domestic protests inside Iran and fears of renewed conflict lingering in global capitals. The Sunday Guardian, plus two reports late Tuesday evening, described a powerful explosion that reportedly rocked the Parchin area. Some international outlets suggested the blast was significant enough to be witnessed by local residents and captured on video, leading to widespread speculation about a possible military strike. Sabotage, or a catastrophic accident inside the facility. Others framed the development in the context of the arrival of a U.S. aircraft carrier strike group in the region, with speculation that rising military postures could have intersected with events on the ground. Update. Calm yet within hours of these reports circulating globally, Iranian authorities issued strong denials. According to officials quoted in state media, there was no explosion or incident involving weapon systems or nuclear materials at Parchin or other facilities in the Pakdash region near Tehran. Iranian provincial officials, including the governor of Pakdash, insisted that what residents heard were sounds from regularly scheduled military tests and drills, not a blast from a munitions detonation, strike, or attack. They emphasized the situation posed no threat to civilians and stated unequivocally that no explosion occurred at the site. News of Bahrain. This clear contradiction, explosive reports on one hand and firm official denial on the other, is striking but not unprecedented. Parchin's history is intertwined with episodes of mystery, classified testing, past accidents, and consistent international scrutiny, making it one of the most opaque and geopolitically sensitive sites in Iran. To understand what this latest episode could mean, we need to explore not only the immediate claims around the January 27 event, but also the historical backdrop of Parchin, its connection to Iran's nuclear program, the role of international actors in the region, and how the narratives around such incidents get shaped in global media. Parchin, not just a military base located roughly 30 kilometers southeast of Tehran, the Parchin complex houses multiple military research, development, and weapons testing facilities. Iran officially describes it as a conventional military testing ground, a place where missile systems, explosive devices, and other defense technologies are developed. However, Western intelligence agencies and nuclear proliferation watchdogs have long suspected that parts of Parchin were used in the past for research that could be relevant to a nuclear weapons program, specifically concerning high explosive tests needed to design a nuclear trigger. ISIS. These suspicions are rooted in events from the early 2000s, when Iran's now defunct Ahmad plan, an alleged secret project aimed at exploring nuclear weapons design, reportedly included tests and research at Parchin's Tailgun 2 site. High explosive test chambers at Tailgun 2 were seen as key to understanding how to detonate a nuclear weapons, conventional explosive lenses with nanosecond precision, an essential component in any implosion-type design. Satellite imagery, international reports, and captured Iranian nuclear archive documents have repeatedly pointed to such facilities. ISIS, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA sought access to these areas as part of its investigations into Iran's possible past military dimensions of its nuclear program. For years, Iran resisted full inspections at Parchin, arguing that the site was strictly military and not part of its civilian nuclear activities. Limited inspections eventually took place, but Iran's historical lack of full transparency fueled ongoing Western skepticism about the site's true purpose. ISIS adding to this backdrop, Parchin has been associated with accidents, fires, and explosions in the past. Some of them claimed to be industrial mishaps by Iranian authorities, others attributed by external analysts to more covert causes. Notably, in June 2020, a blast hit the Parchin area and was attributed by Iranian authorities to a gas storage facility explosion. Western analysts speculated that hidden military infrastructure might have been struck or affected, though definitive evidence was never publicly released. Sky News, January 27, 2026. Conflicting narratives on January 27. The first reports of an explosion in the Parchin area spread rapidly through social media and some news outlets. Videos and eyewitness claims typical in rapidly developing situations were circulated with headlines suggesting a massive explosion or implying foreign military involvement. Some outlets even connected the timing of the blast to the arrival of the USS Abraham Lincoln Aircraft Carrier Strike Group in the Middle East, suggesting that rising tensions between Tehran and Washington could have led to deliberate military action or an accidental escalation upday. Yet these accounts lacked independent verification, and no confirmed visual evidence emerged showing the Parchin complex damaged by an explosion. Unlike widely documented and verified military strikes in the past, satellite imagery or credible on-the-ground reporting confirming structural damage or casualties from January 27 was absent at the time of reporting, raising questions about the reliability of early posts. This pattern of explosive claims, followed by unclear evidence, is all too common in fast-moving geopolitical flashpoints. https://www. oneindia.com/Iran's official denial was decisive. Authorities in the Pakdash region, where Parchin is located, rejected claims of any explosion or accident, framing the sounds heard by locals as coming from scheduled and controlled military tests. Officials emphasized routine activity as the cause and stressed that there was no damage, no casualties, and no danger to residents. This account, while likely intended to calm domestic audiences, also directly contradicts the viral narratives that had already spread. News of Bahrain, the persistent tension between unverified reports and official statements, highlights a central challenge in modern geopolitics: information warfare. In crises involving high-stakes facilities like Parchin, competing interests, whether state actors, media outlets, or intelligence sources, can push narratives that serve different strategic purposes. In such environments, early reporting is often confusing and must be carefully cross-checked against credible evidence before solid conclusions can be drawn. Why Parchin sparks fear and speculation? Several factors make any reported incident at Parchin particularly sensitive. Historical association with nuclear research. Although Iran maintains its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes, several international reports have noted that Parchin once housed facilities used for testing explosive lenses and other technologies that could relate to nuclear weapon development. These claims have never been fully and transparently resolved, leaving the site open to speculation. ISIS past covert operations. In late October 2024, Israeli forces reportedly struck and severely damaged a building at Parchin's Tailgan 2 site that was believed to be associated with nuclear weapons research, part of a broader campaign targeting Iran's sensitive infrastructure, including missile sites and drone production facilities. This strike underscored how foreign powers perceive Parchin not merely as a conventional military base, but as a strategic target in intelligence and security operations. The Asia Live proxy and regional tensions. Iran's relations with both the United States and Israel are strained at multiple levels. The deployment of U.S. naval assets to the Middle East, Iranian threats of retaliation in response to regional military postures, and proxy dynamics involving groups aligned with Tehran further amplify fears that incidents at sensitive sites could be catalysts for wider conflict. Update. Calm domestic unrest, compounding external pressure, Iran has faced widespread domestic protests and crackdowns, which have added layers of instability. Government responses to internal dissent, including internet blackouts and reported casualties, have been cited by some media outlets as part of the broader context of unrest and state response. Update. Calm in such a context, even unverified reports of explosions near a facility with historical nuclear associations trigger intense global attention, immediate speculation about military involvement, and urgent calls for clarity from international actors, including the United Nations and nuclear watchdogs. Analyzing the possibilities when examining a situation like the reported blast at Parchin, there are several main possibilities, each with different implications. 1. Routine military testing or accident. Iran's official explanation of scheduled military tests cannot be dismissed outright. Parchin is a large complex with conventional weapons testing and research activities. In past incidents, what were first thought to be military attacks or sabotage were later determined or asserted by authorities to be accidents, industrial mishaps, or controlled operations. News of Bahrain 2. Sabotage or covert strike. Given Parchin's strategic importance and past reports of covert operations targeting Iran's sensitive infrastructure, some analysts consider the possibility that the blast could result from sabotage carried out by a foreign intelligence service or proxy actor. However, without independent evidence, this remains speculation. The Asia Live 3 misattributed local event in complex environments. Sounds from unrelated incidents such as fuels explosions, mishandled ordnance tests, or even civilian industrial accidents can be misreported as something far more significant, especially as footage is shared globally without clear location verification. https://www. 1india.com/4. False or inflated social media claims. In the era of instantaneous information sharing, viral reports often outpace verified facts. Some posts that claimed a huge explosion at Parchin may have been misattributing unrelated footage or amplifying unverified local rumors, a pattern seen frequently in fast-breaking geopolitical stories. Reddit global and regional reactions at the time of writing. Global governments and major international organizations had not confirmed the reports as factual. Western capitals, including Washington and European capitals, were monitoring the situation closely, but none publicly verified a strike or explosion. The U.S. military emphasized that deployments in the region, including the USS Abraham Lincoln and its strike group, were intended to promote stability, not to signal imminent conflict. Update. Iran's foreign ministry and state officials responded to the broader tension by warning against foreign military action and pledging retaliation if attacked. While denying the Parchin explosion, Iranian authorities made clear that threats to its sovereignty and military infrastructure would provoke a response, a stance that reflects Tehran's long-standing rhetoric in moments of heightened tension with the United States and its allies. Update. Why this matters to the world. Incidents at sites like Parchin attract attention for multiple reasons. Nuclear non-proliferation. Even unconfirmed reports near sensitive facilities raise questions about Iran's nuclear capabilities, intentions, and transparency, areas of global concern for decades. Risk of miscalculation. In tense environments, misinterpreted explosions can be seen as prelude to conflict, leading to escalatory moves by state actors. Regional stability. The Middle East is already marked by proxy conflicts, civil unrest in several states, and military postures that risk slipping into direct confrontation. Media narratives vs. reality. How information spreads in real time can shape public perception and government policy even before facts are verified. Conclusion. The reported explosion near Iran's Parchin military complex on January 27, 2026 is surrounded by conflicting narratives. Social media posts and some international outlets described a powerful blast that captured global attention. Iranian authorities responded with firm denial, asserting that there was no explosion and that routine military tests were to blame for any sounds heard. News of Bahrain without independent confirmations, such as verified satellite imagery, casualty reports, or corroborated on-the-ground reporting. The event remains in the realm of unverified claims. What remains clear is this: Parchin occupies an outsized place in geopolitical imagination, precisely because of its historical association with controversial programs, international scrutiny, and its location within a broader web of tensions involving nuclear proliferation, regional security, and global power competitions. ISIS in that sense. The real story is not simply did a blast occur, but why the world reacts so intensely to any hint of one. A testament to how deeply interwoven Parchin has become with some of the most dramatic fault lines in modern international relations.